I'll tell you what, Rod, she's a rock star. We are surrounded by hundreds of people up here by my desk. I am pleased to be joined by Canadian and world champion, native of Chatham, Ontario. It's been a long time since we've seen you, Shae-Lynn Bourne.
It's such a pleasure to see you, Brian.
Good to catch up with you. We'll talk about where Victor Kratz is in just a minute. We'll talk about skating, but I want to talk, you're one of the top choreographers in the world. You're based, I believe, in Toronto. I thought Michigan.
Yes.
Can you talk about skaters you have worked with and you are working with in all four disciplines?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, well, actually, we were in Poche's free dance tonight, of course, and Yuzuru Hanyu, our past Olympic champion, Nathan Chen from the States, Ashley Wagner. Actually, the list goes on. There's quite a few international skaters, so I'm absolutely in love with what I'm doing and happy to work with them all.
People that don't follow skating, I'm sure, are wondering, how does a dancer do choreography for, say, a male or a female singles?
You know, in some ways, I think being a dancer makes it a little easier because much of what I did was all choreography, right, as a dancer, especially back then when there were less required elements. So it's a more natural, I think, thing to do, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love that creative process.
I want to talk about changes in skating quickly. What's Victor up to these days?
Victor's in North Vancouver working with some real top NHL players, actually,
really?
and the young ones too, building their skating skills. Just saw him 2 days ago and met up with his 3 kids, his wife, and introduced him to my husband and our 5-year-old son, so it was really nice to catch up.
Let's talk skating. You won here in 1997.
Yes.
At that time, no North American had ever won the world title in dance. You and Victor do it in Washington, D.C. Can you speak to us about the changes that you brought to the sport?
Oh, it's amazing how much the sport has changed since 2003. I'd like to think that it's the athleticism that we kind of brought. We were more into the athletic side and tried to have a balance of the athletic art. And I can really see how it's really developed. There are so many new rules and required elements that they have to do, which makes it really challenging and hard and easier for the audience to compare. So I like the change that I've seen, and it's just thrilling to watch these dancers. They're all so good.
Now, what about the changes that Tessa and Scott have brought to the sport?
Well, I think Tessa and Scott, from the last time they actually won the Olympics, it's almost like they were kids and now they're adults or something. I don't know. They just bring a new maturity, and they've always been such a versatile team. And now when I watch them, I feel like they're like a good wine that just improves with time. You know, I just see this, they're bringing on a new contemporary look and such elegance, but control and precision, and as always, a oneness when they skate. So I'm just always blown away by what they bring.
You changed the sport with Victor. Tessa and Scott have done the same. Great to see you after all these years.
Oh, thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Shae-Lynn Bourne, world and Canadian champions.